Whenever I open my eyes to the life force all around me, like Ezekiel's wheel right there in the middle of the air, Ezekiel saw the wheel right there in the middle of the air. So clear, so obvious. The answer is Spirit itself. Please understand, just seeing it there, spinning at the heart of things, didn't give Ezekiel any magic, and it doesn't give us any magic. I'm not talking about miracles here. Unlike some other prognosticators, we do not believe that God will suddenly sweep us all up in a rapturous moment and relieve us of the anguish of this world. Remember, even if we took the Bible literally, it says that God is not sympathetic with our foot dragging. No more floods. The fire next time. If there is anything like a traditional God, she or he hasn't promised to do our work for us. Maybe God has other planets to look after. Maybe where people are taking the paradise she gave them a little more seriously. We may not succeed. Might as well face it. We may go down in utter defeat. But the Spirit says something different, shows something different. In fact, the Spirit is already at work in small but significant ways all over the world if we will but open our eyes to it, be attentive to it. I'm thinking, for example, of the projects of our own Green Sanctuary group. Our participation in the local organization to close 2 coal-burning generating plants that are covering not only Pilsen, but the whole city with their residue. I'm thinking of our participation in the effort to curb diesel emissions. I'm thinking of our recycling project. I'm thinking even of our little avant-garde electric car charging station in the parking lot. Local efforts like this, which don't seem terribly strong in themselves, abound around the globe. We can't know whether these local efforts will come together before it's too late in a worldwide transformation. But the Spirit say do. And it's happened before in our own lifetimes. I mean, who at the height of the Cold War could have believed that the Soviet Union would just suddenly disintegrate of its own ponderous weight? Who imagined just a few years ago that a man with a black African Muslim father and a white American Unitarian Universalist mother would be elected president? Myriad little attitudes and initiatives had to emerge and converge, and I would say in the midst of the Spirit did converge to change the world. So I don't think science has the answer, or engineers, or sociologists, or political powers, or corporate productivity, or economic policies, though all of these play an absolutely necessary role in the service of what I'm calling the Spirit. But it is spiritual awakening. This is what I'm wanting to say. It is spiritual awakening that changes things in fundamental ways. I'm changing it right now as I speak, as you and I try, as our brothers and sisters around the world are trying as well, in all our myriad, modest, local, concrete ways to lend ourselves to the Spirit, to be participants with the Spirit. It is there, you know, the life force which works in all things. And you don't need to believe in miracles to see it. As Thomas Wolfe saw it, under the pavements trembling like a pulse, under the buildings trembling like a cry, under the waste of time, there will be something growing like a flower, something bursting from the earth again, forever deathless, faithful, coming into life again. The life force that the poet Gerard Manley Hopkins saw, gathering to a greatness like the ooze of oil crushed. These very dearest freshness, deep down things of the Spirit are ever at work, beckoning us to join them, to be active participants with them, to be co-creative with this dynamic creativity at the heart of existence. So the question is not whether we will succeed, though it's critical, I think, not to give in to the judgment that we will not succeed. It's critical to believe that we may actually succeed, in spite of the enormous weight of things to the contrary that sent me home from that Unitarian Universalist meeting, frustrated and sorrowful. We can't know whether we will actually maintain a living planet, whether humanity will respond in time and sufficiently. We can't know this now, and I would say that in a real sense, our knowing that doesn't matter. Remember Martin Luther King's words the night before he was assassinated to that church full of his followers. He said, "I may not get there with you, but it doesn't really matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop." He had seen the Spirit working, and that was really all he needed to see. What matters, in other words, is that we be with the Spirit ourselves, that the choices we make support the future of life. There will be choices that circumstances will prevent us from making, but all the choices we can make will choose life and choose a more abundant vision of life. We can only know the ultimate outcome in the sense that our faith affirms it, knowing and seeing that around the globe the life force is in fact working, that others like us are facing that same sense of ultimacy and seeking to address the same challenges and trying like us to make the same difficult but life-affirming choices. Today, we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. The Spirit does not require of us that we make it happen, but only that we be faithful in our choices and let the future be the future. What a way to live if we can do it. And why not? What a way to be in our lives as beings awake to the deepest challenges and best possibilities of our own day, as beings serving the life force to the best of our ability, as beings in and of the life force, in and of the Spirit. Let's join together now in some words of aspiration, followed by moments of silent meditation. These are words of another poet, W.S. Merwin, a poem entitled Thanks. Listen, with the night falling, we are saying thank you. Listen, with the night falling, we are saying thank you. We are stopping on the bridges to bow from the railings. We are running out of the glass rooms with our mouths full of food to look at the sky and say thank you. We're standing by the water, thanking it, smiling by the windows, looking out in our directions. Back from a series of hospitals, back from a mugging, after funerals, we are saying thank you. After the news of the dead, whether or not we knew them, we are saying thank you. Over telephones, We're saying thank you. In doorways and in the backs of cars and in elevators, remembering wars and the police at the door and the beatings on stairs, we are saying thank you. In the banks, we are saying thank you. In the faces of the officials and the rich and of all who will never change, we go on saying thank you, thank you. With the animals dying around us, our lost feelings, we are saying thank you. With the forests falling faster than the minutes of our lives, we are saying thank you. With the words going out like cells of a brain, with the cities growing over us, we are saying thank you faster and faster. With nobody listening, we are saying thank you. We are saying thank you and waving, dark though it is. Turn to our responsive reading, number 555, a famous one by Thomas Wolfe. I suggest we might read at least the earlier verses this morning with a certain sense of irony. Maybe this way, some things will never change, or I was going to say, some things will never change, or will they?